Deloise Silver, the founder of recently incorporated Pressure for Change Shelf Stable Foods, Inc. We believe in ethical business practices and what shape our communities, and we believe that businesses can and must pay a living wage, no exceptions. Since launching, we have been growing steadily, and we are working to initiate our JAR 365 program, delivering to Indigenous communities 365 jars to feed a house for a whole year. We currently operate in Nova Scotia with the goal to expand across all of Mi'kma'ki and cover more than just the 13 nations of Nova Scotia. If we're awarded the $25,000 grand prize, we will be donating near half to 2 individuals by the way of 365 jars each, as we want to support decolonized food systems and long-term community care. We came from a background of food insecurity, and we want to change that. Thank you.
Thanks, Silver. That was a good pitch. So quick question. You talked about food insecurity. What drove you or brought you to this type of work?
This type of work actually came from a shift in my career. I was working hard hours, I hit burnout, I wasn't feeling myself. I ended up taking some time to reflect and figure out how I felt culturally, where my roots come from, and I realized that we have a better way of doing things. And I've had some inspirations and different businesses that are doing the same, and I wanted to make sure that Nova Scotia had that type of business launching. Food insecurity is a big problem right now, and we need to make a change faster than ever.
Thanks, Silver. Aya.
Thank you, Silver. This is very beautiful. So my question for you is, when did you start your business? And since you have started today, what were you able to accomplish?
I started my business in the end of 2023 as a sole proprietor. And since then, I've done a lot of research to be able to figure out what works best for the business. So far, we've gotten into market. We spent some time, we ended up incorporating recently. We've had some wins where we were entered into the Food Ventures program, and we can get an 80% subsidy on our recipe testing. And we've also gotten into the Taking Roots program, which will help us expand and market. So we've had quite a few. Incorporating was huge, but getting back into market as early as this month will be one of our biggest feats.
Hi, my name is Erin Belch. I'm a member of Chippewas of Georgina Island, a mom to 3 kids, and I love coffee. My husband and I own a coffee roastery called Belching Barista. It all began 7 years ago when we roasted coffee out of a small roaster in our basement for our wedding. From there, we did online sales, and now we own a storefront with a tasting bar and a larger roaster that enables us to roast higher quantities for wholesale. Our high quality coffee is also sustainable, supporting farmers around the world who ethically grow our beans and using a roaster that is energized by bullfrog power, a green energy. Upon winning, our next steps are to purchase a coffee trailer to attend events, festivals, and powwows. We also plan to host intro to roasting workshops to adjacent Six Nations communities near us. Now that we have reached profitability, we want to keep growing and expand our community support. So grow with us. Thank you, Miigwech.
Fantastic, great pitch. Can you tell me a little bit more about just kind of the impact that your business has on the community?
Absolutely. So we try to set aside about $150 a month in giveaways and supporting different things. Right now, we're actively supporting a local hospice that's growing. We also do a lot of school outreaches because it's the best kind of price point for fundraising.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing and for a wonderful pitch. I was just hoping that you could share how you market your product.
Absolutely. So one thing that we do a lot is the radio. We lean into the radio a lot and we enjoy that. The radio is about $150 a week, and we do social ads, Facebook, social media, and we spend about $20 a month on that. A lot of it's word of mouth and community events that we are in the community doing things. we have a fair that's like, it's a big agriculture community in Waterford. So we attend the fair and we attend Pumpkin Fest. And that's really, word of mouth is huge, relied on in this small town.
Kwe Nadisna cousin Animini, Meganajik Dutse. Hi, my name is Leanne Animini Nottaway. I'm from Meganajik and Parc de la Vendrée in Quebec. My band is in Rapid Lake. My first employment was in 2017 for my cousin in the, Wawadi's Catering until her retirement in 2019. A year later, she passed down her catering supplies and told me Kintam dish, which means it's your turn now. Inspiration and motivation to start my very own catering service is in 2023. I am now the CEO of Animini's Catering. I harvest and hunt wild game all year round. I cook traditional food over the fire and or cook modern cuisine. I rock my Reuben skirt every time I have a catering service. Since 2023, I've had loyal customers. I've met new clients every month. I've catered for 4 different communities for high-profile fundraisers or a youth center grand opening. For 400 to 15 guests in Quebec and Ontario region, I want to give back to my community by providing cooking space for an annual feast and provide summer employment in the youth.
So you're doing great, Leanne. So what would she use that $25,000 for if you were to win all of this?
For the Powwow Pitch Fund, I'd invest in bringing back a 28 by 32 cookhouse with eco log home, with an antique wood stove for the elders and for the older generations, and an essential commercial kitchen for the youth for summer jobs, and a business van for transportation.
Awesome. Thanks, Leanne. You did great.
Oh my God, I can't breathe.
Thank you. It's normal to be stressed, but we're here to help, and we're very excited to hear from you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know that you have already started your business. Is it profitable for now?
Yes, it is.
Tell me more.
The annual revenue is $24,480. I get 4 to 6 catering service in a month. I do have loyal customers since 2023, and I have new clients every month.
Ani Bourgeois, I'm Destiny, the founder and executive chef at Food Zen, and I'm on a mission to change the way people see, buy, and eat food. In Canada, we're eating less than 10% of the foods that are native. And if you're an urban Indigenous person like me, due to the 60 scoop or displacement, good luck. Venison, bison, and even wild rice are restricted, while processed foods fill our shelves and fuel the highest diabetes rates among Indigenous people in Canada. I started Food Zen to change that. Although we cook international foods, we strive to follow Indigenous philosophies of hyperlocal, ultra-seasonal, and prioritize whole foods over processed ones. We run a production kitchen, partner with schools and organizations, and teach hands-on cooking classes to bring healthy, whole foods back to the table. We're also working with a law firm to challenge outdated laws and restrictions. If I win Powwow Pitch, I'll invest in commercial equipment, expand our programs, grow our partnerships, create our own line of sauces and spices, and amplify our advocacy. Food Zen isn't just a business. It's a movement to reclaim our food sovereignty and feed the next 7 generations.
Thank you so much, Destiny. Great pitch. Can you tell me how you would envision your company looking in 5 years?
Yeah, we definitely are currently very local to our region, and that's just because we strive to use hyperlocal, ultra-seasonal foods. Therefore, recipes, depending on which region you're in, are going to change. Ideally, I would like to open more satellite kitchens around the region and expand across Ontario so that we can bring more healthy, non-processed foods to other families.
That is fantastic. Absolutely love your pitch and your passion. Can you please tell us how you market your product?
We're currently marketing through social media, but a lot of our marketing comes from one-on-ones. I do a lot of talks, and I teach in almost all of the schools across Southwestern Ontario. I do a lot of workshops, and every time I go to one of those things, I tend to walk away with 1 to 10 more either invites to other events, or I get new customers. So currently we're tracking about 10% of new customers week by week.
My name is Cassandra Carreiro, and I'm a proud Indigenous entrepreneur from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm the founder of Charcuterie, Manitoba's first Indigenous, celiac, and women-owned charcuterie catering service, cafe, and cocktail bar. I launched Charcuterie in 2020 during the pandemic, driven by my passion for food, inclusivity, and bringing people together. Our boards and offerings feature locally sourced products from small, locally owned businesses across Manitoba with a focus on accommodating dietary restrictions so no one feels left out at the table. What started as a small home business has grown into a thriving cafe, cocktail bar, and event space. Since 2021, we've more than tripled our sales, proving the demand for what we do. And now we're officially opening and expanding into the Forks markets, one of Winnipeg's busiest cultural and tourist destinations. Winning the $25,000 would allow me to secure specialized equipment, hire additional staff, and scale our operations. We would be further amplifying Indigenous representation in a major food hub. With Charcuterie, I'm not just serving food, I'm creating a space of inclusion, representation, and Indigenous entrepreneurial excellence.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Cassandra. So how do you build Indigenous values and community into your business?
With my business, I focus on uplifting other Indigenous entrepreneurs and collaborating with them. When I'm asked to do any sort of like Indigenous events, I help co-promote and make sure that I'm part of that. My space itself, I market it as like an accountable space. So we have the values of inclusion and making sure that everyone feels welcomed here. And then we focus on sustainability. So we have a food waste app. And again, we source from local people. So that's a way that we help with sustainability as well.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And you spoke about expanding and scaling. Is expanding and selling your charcuterie across Canada part of it? Do you plan, like, how do you plan to sell across Canada?
I'm not sure if I plan to go across Canada at this time. Right now, I'm focused mainly in just expanding in Manitoba. So we're expanding to the Forks, which is like an iconic location in Winnipeg. It's a major food hub. It's a major tourist location, and it's been like a meeting place for 6,000 years. So I'm just focused on that right now. If that works and that's a success, then maybe the next step would be looking to maybe somewhere in a different province or even just outside of Winnipeg.
I'm sure it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Shawna, and I am the founder of Shawna Sweet Treats, where homemade flavor meets community connection. I create small batch, handcrafted baked goods, cookies, cupcakes, and celebration cakes with bold, unique flavors and inclusive options like vegan and gluten-free. Our sweet treats bring people together, whether it's at local markets, community events, or family tables. What makes us unique is our commitment to quality, creativity, and community. We've already built a loyal following, and the demand is growing. To meet it, we are ready to take the next big step. The $25,000 will go directly towards renovating a commercial kitchen space and upgrading our branding and packaging, areas where we already budgeted and began planning for. This will allow us to increase production, improve efficiency, and reach more customers through retail and online orders. Beyond baking, my vision is to create a welcoming space where kids, families, and community members love to visit, a place where people look forward to coming to, not just for the treats, but for the warmth, joy, and connection. We also give back by donating to local homeless shelters and hosting youth baking workshops that inspire and empower. With your support, Shawna Sweet Treats will be more than a bakery. It'll be a community cornerstone. Thank you, Ekose.
Great job, Shawna. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you got started with this business?
For sure. I was on maternity leave. I was at home with my firstborn child and I was going stir crazy. So, what I did was I took up this hobby. I slowly started baking for friends and family. And from there, the word got out to people within the community that my talent, I guess, slowly grew. And from there, I created my Facebook page. And then from there, slowly into Instagram. And I've slowly built my name and my brand from my home into something that I want to be much more.
Great.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your information and your pitch today. Can you please tell us where you see yourself and the business growing in the next 3 to 5 years?
For sure. I would like to move my small business out of my home. It's something that I'm doing here out of my home right now. And I would like to envision a small scale bakery for myself. I don't want to start large. I want to start small. I want to get myself into the community more so rather than like the small markets or the, the big events that we have here. Country Fest is huge here. The Ukrainian festival is huge here. I want to start building myself up from, like I said, my home-based business to a small storefront where I can start small with the small equipment, and slowly build myself up. I already have a great inventory of equipment that I have. So to be able to move from, like I said, this small scale business that I have here for myself to something a little bit bigger where I can bring in more staff and just kind of be a space where, like I said, people can come and look forward to being, and it being a fun and great environment for people within the community that they know that they can come to at any time while we're open, and just being able to be excited about it.
Hi, my name is Basil Byrd, and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Alberta, and I was born and raised here in Jasper National Park after the 2024 wildfire, which decimated my home and way of life. We are now seeing a rise of large corporate-sized franchises buying out our local businesses and contributing nothing to our community. That inspired me to create Bird's Beans Mobile Machine. It is an Indigenous-owned coffee roasting mobile machine and cafe concession stand that celebrates local culture, supports rebuilding, and gives visibility to Indigenous businesses in one of Alberta's top tourist destinations. We serve locally roasted and packaged coffee, fresh seasonal foods, and merchandise while partnering with Indigenous organizations and artisans across Turtle Island. My mobile machine will provide culinary skills and championship barista training with seasonal jobs to Indigenous youth, creating lasting impacts for its needed most. After 10 years grassroots success, I'm ready to scale up. I have the education, the suppliers, a tested menu with a 5-year plan, and all I need is the funding to purchase my food trailer to start moving mountains and launch this business into full time. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh, well done, Basil. Why coffee? Of all the things you could have selected, why coffee?
I started working in the coffee industry when I was 13 at a place called Coco's Cafe here in Jasper, and that turned into a big thing for me. Like, my entire career has been coffee. It's been 20 years I've been in the game. I went to the Barista Championships in 2015 in Vancouver, and that's where I learned all my SCA, the coffee roasting, mastering, and stuff like that.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. And you said that you already have a 5-year plan. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I've written out a 5-year business plan to start going to banks and looking for more funding. I just took out a $5,000 personal loan just to help me out a little bit this summer with some traveling. I have a bunch of booths lined up. I do have coffee in stock right now. I haven't been able to launch into online sales yet, but that's what the 5-year plan is, part of that. So, like, registering my business, getting like everything proper permitted for local, local licensing. Yeah, and then like all of my finances and everything are all planned out for about 5 years.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bailie Stewart, and I'm from Stuckhouse First Nation. I was raised with a rodeo upbringing while being immersed in the cattle industry. And as a child, I remember processing our meat, whether it was wild game or domestic meat. But in our household, the best cutter got the best knife. And as for me, I was the wrapper and packer, as my skills were not up to snuff with the rest of my family. For as long as I can remember, I've always been the meat packer, and then one day I told myself, I want to be the meat cutter, and I want to have the best knife. So having graduated from one of the best retail meat processing programs in BC, my dream is to build a successful and fully inspected custom cutting meat shop here on Indigenous land. The startup money will help me kickstart my business and aid in food sovereignty within my home nation. And as I build success, I want to give back to the nearby bands and generate more employment as my business grows in demand. Yurik Stukes, Gukstechel.
Fantastic, Bailie. Great pitch. I also come from a rodeo and ranching family, so I'm excited to hear about this.
Nice.
Where do you envision your business being in 5 years?
So in 5 years, I want to have all of the different branches to my business open. So not only am I going to be a meat cutting shop, I also want to have a retail front. I do want to eventually open up an abattoir, which is like the slaughterhouse version of that. And another portion that we wanted too was a portable meat processing shop. I've dealt with this before, where we could portably go into people's ranches, communities, whether they were hunting camps, and we're able to go in and teach people how to break down their meat properly, because that's a skill I find that we're kind of losing a little bit of as people, because we're so dependent on that big grocery store sign that not a lot of people know how to figure out what comes from where on an animal, or even just how to undress the animal from skin to meat. So I'm really big on that because I want to make sure that people can feed themselves. I know right now food's expensive, and I just want to make it a little bit more cost effective and a little bit more local and a lot healthier, because then you know where your food's coming from. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely love your pitch, and your personality shines through, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you.
What would you say is your greatest superpower as an entrepreneur?
Probably my people skills. I'm really good at talking to people, getting people comfortable with me, giving them the information that they're looking for too, because I work in healthcare. That really helped hand in hand with that. I can really explain things to people, especially when people don't know much about meat. I mean, it's really easy to go in the store and go pick up something, but even then, it's hard to tell what's going to be a tough cut of meat and what's going to be not so tough. So I find that my people skills are really, really, really up there. Like, I'm very good at talking to people. I can make people laugh. Oh, sorry about that. So it's a really good way to kind of interconnect people. It makes them really comfortable with me too. So when they're asking me stuff and they want to know like what they're getting for a piece of meat, they know that they're getting something that's quality and that the person who knows what they're talking about, right? So
Abashtet Danate Tanse, my name is Brittney Pastion, and I'm here to share a dream of my late sister, a powwow food truck. What started as a memorial has grown into a beloved part of our local powwow, where we serve comforting meals and bring people together. Next year will mark our 4th season, and now we're ready to grow. Our vision reaches beyond food. We plan to start building Gia's Kitchen by sourcing more local produce, offer nutrient-dense and diabetic-friendly options, and create programs that nurture mental health and youth empowerment. This step forward is a promise to complete her dream and to nourish our people and to build a kinder, healthier future. Gia's Kitchen is a tribute to her passion, creativity, warmth, love, laughter, and storytelling. Ishnish, Masicho, hi, thank you so much. I appreciate this time, and I'm grateful heart.
Awesome. Well done, Brittney. You're probably glad that that's over with, eh? So quick question. I've been to a number of powwows, and there's literally dozens of different places to eat. What's going to bring me to your truck?
Well, we like to offer more nutritious food. Right now, we only have 4 things that are on our menu. I like to say that the memorial years is for us to catch up to Gia's creativity and her expert cooking. So we have 4 things on our meal that people really like. And right now, we only go to our local powwow, so once a year, and people look forward to us. So we have our spam fried rice, our pasta. We have these kind of different infusions that we'd like to put our menu forward. But a lot of people like coming to ours because we have fruit. We also have, vegetables and things that people want to not feel as heavy when they dance. As myself as a dancer, I always want to have food that fuels me. And that's what we're aiming to do with our kitchen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And so how do you plan to market your product? How do you plan to go to the market and have more people know you?
Well, right now we are a memorial tribute to my late sister. She already had a following on TikTok. She was a TikToker that did a lot of food videos. So we have a lot of her local community. Like, she had like 50,000 followers that would look forward to her. But right now we did private her videos to protect her spirit in the spirit world, but we'd like to bring back in the legacy of it. So we share mental health messages and promote it that way.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Mike. I am the owner and founder of Navajo Mikes. We have been in business for about 5 years now. This year, or last year in particular, we have reached, we are now a 6-figure company. We're on Amazon. We're battling between another company, but we pretty much are the top Amazon's choice of fry bread mix in the US on Amazon. We have our e-commerce business. We do very well with that, as well as our wholesale accounts, as well as our nonprofit that we work with the Indigenous community here. We work with St. Mary's Food Bank. And what we do is we help distribute 2,500 to 5,000 bags of either fry bread mix, cornmeal to all 20+ tribes around the state. So we've been doing that for about 2 years now. And yeah, we keep going. We market very well. And that's helped us become a 6-figure company. And we plan to expand way more and get more bigger facility to keep expanding here in the US and further, hopefully.
Big test. Thanks so much for your pitch, Mike. I've got some fry bread mix from the Tecate Indigenous Marketplace over here, also from Arizona. But tell me a little bit more about specifically what you'd use the funds for if you were to win the pitch.
So we would expand. We do really well with our marketing right now, and I would use a lot of it for that to actually get more of the word out. And like I said, we still, I need a bigger facility than what I currently operate at. I do have 1 to 2 part-time employers, so I would be able to employ other Indigenous, people and community people just to help get it going, and just snowball it and get it bigger and, possibly get a vehicle, do food truck. There's so many options of marketing as well as getting other Indigenous people to help, build this brand, as well as Amazon. We can start marketing. The funny thing with Amazon is I don't have to market because there's like 6 other fried bread companies. And so the name itself has been building itself on there. But yeah, just expanding, and definitely heavy marketing on it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your pitch and for talking about your business. Can you please share how you decided to get into this industry?
So 2020 pandemic happened and I was a chef for 15 years. And when that happened, I was out of a job, as everyone in the restaurant was. And I had the idea of making a barbecue sauce, a Southwest style barbecue, and started with that, and people loved it. And, I was like, all right, let's make a business out of it. So then we made 3 other flavors, and then we went to hot sauces and then the fried bread mix. And now we're doing blue cornmeal, and there's other ideas that we're going to do. It was just, it was a pandemic baby, essentially. I didn't have a job and I was like, what else am I going to do? And let's try barbecue sauce, let's see where that goes. And here I am 5 years later.
The street food in LA has got every kind of taco. Carnitas, al pastor, burritos, chalupas, you name it, it can be found. But there is something missing, and that's the fry bread taco. Hi, I'm Gil, chef and owner of Laco Tacos, and I'm going to change that. I've been serving street-style fry bread tacos at bars and pop-ups and markets for the last 3 years, and people love them. As an independent Native American businessman, I know how important it is to have sovereign sources and sustainable practices. Customers love to hear where the food comes from, and it's easy for me to find farm-direct meats and vegetables. LA is a city of cultures coming together, and it is my mission to bring that experience to everyone. Powwow Pitch, thank you for this opportunity. My plan is to expand my business and continue to represent my love for Lakota food and LA culture by upgrading my equipment and getting in new spaces at street fairs and festivals. With your help, I can move on to the next level and continue my plan to share my favorite taco, the fry bread taco, to anyone that wants one.
That's awesome. Thanks, Gil. So, we see tacos all over the place, Indian tacos all over the place. What makes an Indian taco or Lakota taco different from what makes them the best?
Well, what makes the difference between my taco and a normal taco cart was I am using the fried bread and I'm using the LA culture. These today are birria style. It's a stewed meat and a Mexican style of beef, and I'll do other kinds of things too, to bring what the street food is in LA to the fried bread product. Like trying to get this melding, this fusion of different indigenous cultures together, and make something just delicious for everybody.
Awesome, thanks, Gil.
Thank you so much. What was your biggest achievement so far?
My biggest achievement was I did a pop-up dinner for about 100 during Thanksgiving. I was donated a turkey for my job, and I used it to and I rented what do they call it, peer space or something, and invited people from Reddit, and people came from all over the city and had a Three Sisters meal and with fry bread and turkey tinga, and I was pretty happy about it, you know.
Was it paid or was it for free?
It was paid. It was $20 a plate.
Awesome.